Hey, you guys. Well, let's talk about it. Let me turn my fan off here. So, we have a bit of business to discuss. This is part two of the personal safety, nomad travel safety series that I'm doing. Now, this is a result of thousands of people responding to my initial short on personal safety, especially when you're traveling. In the first part of this video, we are going to just do a rundown and overview of part one, which is going to be in the description. And for me, I like to write stuff down, so that's what we've done. Let's do a recap. A little bit about me. I am a Black American woman, as you can see. I travel and hike in a customized hiking vehicle that is secure. And what I've noticed is a term called van life, which I call the homeless nomads, or homeless in the sense that they spend the majority of their time in the vehicle. In doing so, I've noticed a lot of videos where they have scared the doo-doo out of people, or have created a narrative that causes for speculation based on what they say, what they show in the video, and good old common sense being absent. So with that said, let's talk about different things that are obvious. Because people are now using words such as divisive, words such as division, and have a sense of naivete when it comes to Black women specifically. I've never been a man, so I can't really discuss with precision the circumstances regarding our Black men and their perspective of being safe, because I've never been a Black man. But as a Black woman, we need to have a talk. Okay? We need to have a talk. Let's have a talk about traveling as a Black person. Now, some Black people, Black American, because I'm a Black American, have a tendency to think that when we make a distinction, it's something that is inappropriate, it's triggering, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to tell you something. As a Black woman who travels in places where I am the only raisin in a bowl of rice, I can tell you that my experience is different. It's different from a lot of from varying perspectives. One thing that I know is that there has been a level of curiosity, because you don't see very many Black folk in Utah, in the forest, in the wilderness, at national parks. If you do see other Black folks, oftentimes they're foreign and they have Caucasian spouses. So with that said, I think that based on my experience, because there have been a few, they don't have a level of solidarity, or they don't have a level of culture that is traditionally associated with foundational Black American culture. You can research it and get into that later. So oftentimes that type of individual cannot discern between different forms of systemic observations, stereotypes, microaggressions, and things like that. The reality is that when you are in the forest on vacation, hiking, in places where you are the sole Black woman in a place, you should not give a damn. That's my point. You should not give a damn. Focus, focus, focus. Let's focus on why you're there. You're there to have a good time. Enjoy yourself. So let's talk about personal safety from the perspective of a Black woman who travels. I don't live in the van. Some of you all are hard of hearing, but I'm going to emphasize this. I do not live in a van. I have invested in my desire to be an outdoor enthusiast who has a focus on safety. I don't live in my van. It's pretty. It's safety. It's safe. It's secure. All the bells and whistles. But nobody's living in here. So stop with the nonsense. Okay. I have been to 49 states. Some states I have no interest in revisiting. I don't really mind being in these places because I do a few things that I think should encourage you to travel by yourself or not be deterred to travel by yourself as a Black woman. So let's get into this. First, if you decide that you are going to travel by yourself in a vehicle, there are a few things that you should do, especially in the context of 3 categories: nomad travel, solo travel abroad, solo travel in a vehicle where you are traveling and coming back to your primary residence, the city from where you're from, in a car. And third, this concept of van life. As a person who has traveled to a lot of countries, I have learned, and also based on my professional career, that safety are things that should be the first book of business. If you're traveling to different countries, you have to understand the requirements of your privilege of being able to visit someone else's country. Read the laws. Read the laws. Understand that if you go to certain South American countries and you cross your leg and you show the bottom of your foot, you're breaking the law. Understand that some people that have privilege in the United States, they don't give a damn in China. They'll cane you. So don't go there mocking people, doing things that in this country are overlooked based on race and age, and people that are coddled based on skin color. And in other countries, they don't play that nonsense. They'll lock you up, cane you, or both, or you just might end up missing. Safety in other countries. We know you're a tourist, but you don't have to confirm that you're a tourist in some instances. Stop asking people to take photographs of you using your own camera. Stop asking people for directions. Stop asking people questions, period. You know why? Because you are not only in another person's country, but you don't know what the motives are when it comes to citizens versus tourists. So you have to read up, you have to determine whether or not it's going to be safe to visit certain countries. Go to the State Department, they'll tell you what the alerts are for safety, but do your research. That's another animal, because some of y'all are not going anywhere. So you know, that's just it, the end all about that. But anyway, other countries. So anyway, keep that in mind. Cover up too. Put your breast up. We know no one needs to see all of this. In a lot of countries, it's offensive to show your breasts and legs and all of that. So don't end up in jail. Don't end up in jail or a victim of a savage attack. And the fact that they don't value women means that you're going to come back to the United States traumatized. So be careful. So we talked about traveling. Let's say you're in North Carolina and you want to go to Missouri or Nevada, or let's see what other states are on the opposite side. Yellowstone. Y'all know that's my favorite national park, but Yellowstone. And you're driving. It's a trip. It's a vacation. You're going to drive in your car. First thing you need to determine is what route you're going to take as a black woman. Before I decide to stop in a city, I look at the crime statistics in the neighborhoods. So if I'm uncertain, then what I will do is I'll stay at the airport. Pay for parking, stay at the airport, or get a hotel if you feel comfortable. I'm going to break that down in a minute. Determine where you want to eat, how you want to eat. Do you want to go to the grocery store? Would you like to eat in restaurants? Because you know some of us, we love a good meal. A child, that was good. And she put her foot in that. Well, the reality is you don't know what else someone has put in that. In some of these places, they may put their foot, their bleep, and anything else because they don't like your black ass. And I know that sounds really direct and crass. Sorry for the expletive, but I used it for emphasis. I use it for emphasis because some of the things that I see our people do are unnecessary, unsolicited, unwelcomed, and can prove to be deleterious to your health. So be careful where you eat. Be careful where you eat. I'll give you an example. My first trip to the National Forest as a hiker was going to Yellowstone. I rented a car. I drove up from Nevada up to Utah, and I saw this national park on the way called Zion. I stopped at Zion. I said, oh, let me see what they have here. And I said, I'm just going to get something because I was excited. Now, mind you, let me backtrack for a moment. I decided, and as a person who is a vegetarian, I don't eat meat. Not only do I not eat meat, but I don't eat any touched food, any food that someone else has prepared. I rarely go to restaurants unless I see somebody preparing the food directly in front of me. I know that's not a popular way to eat. That's how I eat. Primarily because I'm a scientist. People are dirty. They don't wash their hands. They pick their cell phones up. They do a lot of things that are just not hygienic. So I don't want to put all that in my body. Nevertheless, it's another topic. But with that said, I went to Zion. I forgot the name of the place. I think it was Mountain View. It was a resort or lodge. I went in. Now, mind you, sorry, I'm all over the place. As soon as I go to any city, anywhere in the world, I find a grocery store. Plan to cook my own food or eat in a way, and it's funny the way that I eat. I eat in a not in a popular way for most, but I find a grocery store, I stock up so that I am prepared to eat whatever I need to eat on the road, prepare my food on the road. So I already had food in my car. And this speaks to being disciplined. I already had food in my car. Didn't really have anything that I wanted to eat, but I was excited. I went into this restaurant, lodge, resort, and again, only black person in there. I ordered mozzarella sticks. If you know anything about mozzarella sticks, they don't take long to prepare, but I ordered mozzarella sticks. It took these people nearly 30 minutes to bring me these mozzarella sticks. During the interim, people were coming back from the kitchen, looking, peeping. I said, my goodness, that's interesting. So then I asked the young lady what the ETA was on the mozzarella sticks. She said, they're getting them. Okay. So they bring the mozzarella sticks out. And when they brought, and this was a carry-out order. This wasn't even a dine-in order. They brought the mozzarella sticks out after 30 minutes. I opened up the container. I looked at the mozzarella sticks. I looked at that sauce that they had along, that was a supplement to the meal. And I looked over and I saw 3 people standing at the entrance of the kitchen looking at me and chuckling. I said, I paid for the meal. I said, thank you. And I left those damn mozzarella sticks right there. They seemed a little disappointed, but I left the mozzarella sticks right there. Now, again, that's just a scenario. But what I noticed is that it is odd for a person to have a constant glare without blinking, staring. A level of curiosity that people who live in cities just don't really have. We don't really have an interest in sitting there gawking at people. It may have unwanted consequences, so we just don't do that. Nevertheless, let's get back to the topic. That's an example. When you're traveling, we started from the south, going to the west, determine how you're going to eat. My recommendation is to have pre-made food, a cooler, beverages, pre-prepared, pre-made meals that you may go into a Whole Foods or a grocery store, because most have microwaves, and microwave your food. But if you're going to eat something, I would strongly suggest that you survey the restaurant and come to a conscious and gut decision, because you know your gut will speak to you, about whether or not it's going to be safe to eat there. What they don't talk about is people being poisoned. And you see all sorts of local news when you're driving, but just to determine what you're going to eat. Determine what type of hotel you're going to stay in. For me, I can say that if you're traveling in a car from point A to point B, you've already predetermined where you're going to stay. Marriott, Ritz-Carlton, wherever you're going to stay. But understand that the further you go west, the weirder these hotels are. You may have a lot of privately owned hotels. You're not going to get anything over a 2-star. That's for sure. So you'll be staying at places where individuals that may travel from different places often, they may stay at these hotels. It's also in a lot of these hotels that are 2-star and below, it is a breeding ground for human trafficking. So if you're a black woman traveling, you need to stay in a hotel, be careful about where you stay. I would recommend a hotel and not a motel. A motel is one of those things where you just walk up to the door. They have laundry facilities and all of those things, but it's not something where you go into the building and no one knows No one knows which room you're going to. In a motel, you're subject to being watched. They know what type of car you have. They can look at your license plate. They see that you're alone. So people are always watching. Somebody is always watching. Somebody is always lurking. And because of our ethnicity, there's a level of curiosity that is attached to Black American women. Either there's a stare, a glare, a level of questioning. And this is not a persecution complex. This is just in general. Because as cultural people, in most cases, Black American culture, we just don't run up to people just asking a bunch of questions based on what we have a fear of and what we have an interest in. Most of us aren't interested. We just want to go about our business, have a great time. You know we're real extra, so you know we want to look cute all the time. Brings me to my next point. What you gonna wear? What you gonna wear when you're traveling? You can wear whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want. But understand that there is a high level of human trafficking out here. So you can wear whatever you want. For me, I wear stuff like this. See, because in most cases, I work out in the morning. Every time I stop, I get up in the morning and I go for a run before I drive. So I'm always in workout clothes, and the tights that I wear are compression. So it adds to your circulation. But anyway, I just like tight stuff. I like to look cute. I like for my hair to look good. I like to smell good. I like to be fresh. So again, we are foundational women, but use discretion. In some of these places, yeah, I got all this out. Before I get gas, before I go into the store, I cover up. I cover up because sometimes it's a trigger. And what I get from some of us is a lesson in I can do what I want to do. I'm educated. I have degrees. Well, most of us do. I have 3 and a half. I always say and a half, but I have a minor. With all that said, they don't know that when they see you, they don't give a damn. And they can mean anybody who is a predator. Let's be very clear. So you're well-educated, extra cute, well-dressed black behind is walking around. Some of us got a little bit more butter than others. You know what I'm saying? Looking cute, and somebody is watching you because they like it too. You love it, they like it. So you have to be careful about being extra out here. When you're driving, we talked about where you're going to eat, planning your trip, what you're going to wear. So that's for the car traveler. I will also add to that, making sure that you have contact points. I like to refer to it as an underground railroad. You talk to your friends, you talk to your cousins, relatives who are in different cities along the way so that you can check in. I have friends who have gotten on me, dragged me because they're like, where are you? And I'm giddy. And they say, no, your tracker hasn't been tracking for 24 hours. Sis, where you at? I said, okay, I'm going to have to do better. But understand that I'm tracked everywhere, 24/7. And I'm going to tell you, if I end up missing, oh, my sisters are cold. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they are interested parties. And let there be no misunderstanding, oh, that they will find you. Oh, they gonna find you because they will be relentless in checking on me, period. So with all that said, I know some things have been made in humor and jest just so that this isn't a weak video, but understand that you have got to be aware that black women are not protected. They're not. If you end up missing, you're just going to be that missing. There may be a story or two, but believe me, it's probably going to be a cold case. So you have to use your discretion. Also, I'm going to tell you, once you leave the South, maybe past Mississippi, now and again, I know I'm going to hear it in the comments, that's a different type of mindset when it comes to how we think as a collective in most cases. In most cases, you are going to meet black folks who have absolutely no interest in black folk. They can be just as threatening as non-black folks. They can be as unhelpful as non-black folks. Some of them in some circumstances hate themselves. So if they hate themselves, you know they're going to hate you. Oftentimes, when you go to certain places, especially in the Midwest, their mindset in terms of how they're treated is permissible. And I don't really get into the why, but the only thing that I know is if you have built a system where you have indentured yourself in ways that are a detriment to you and your community or your personal safety, I don't want to be near you. Sorry, I don't want to be near you. But that California one, sorry if you're in California, but Oakland is different. Southern California, Los Angeles, San Diego, those places, they don't even acknowledge one another. So the people, the car, the restaurant, the hotel, keep those things in mind. And let's go over to, and that's just common sense, but just make sure that you track yourself and you have an underground railroad where people know where you are at all times, especially if you're a black woman traveling by yourself. Keep yourself a weapon and be careful about law enforcement. Be very careful about law enforcement. When you deal with law enforcement, be polite, respectful, record everything. As soon as you see those lights start recording, call somebody, have them on speakerphone so that you can be safe. Now, I'm not saying that law enforcement is a bad thing, but what I will say is that sheriff departments have a different level of authority. They are elected. Sheriffs are elected. They're elected by the constituents that live in whatever county that you're being stopped in. They don't have any restrictions on how long they can detain you. And so oftentimes when you see all of these events regarding police indiscretions and subjective behavior and killings and things like that, it's by the sheriff department. You don't really see too many state troopers or city law enforcement because sheriffs, again, have different jurisdiction. All right, so let's move on to these van life people. This is going to be short. This is a PSA to the black van life people. Stop embarrassing us. Please, 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 please. Some of the stuff you all do is embarrassing. And I'm just going to say it. Might not be politically correct, but I'm just going to say it because it leaves a bad impression on how the majority of us are when it comes to perspectives, when it comes to things that are not socially acceptable. And I'm talking about hygiene. And you know damn well your black mama didn't tell you to wash with a baby wipe. We all know that, so stop it. And aside from that, the eating, like a caricature. You're eating, you have food flying out your mouth, sauces around your lips. Ooh, that's good. That's good. Ooh-wee. The bucking of the eyes, the licking of the fingers. Stop that. I know why you're doing it. You want your channel to grow. But in comparison to the people that are not black in van life, and these are specifically people that are in van life, you're never going to get as many followers as non-black folk. They'll watch, but you're not going to become a millionaire from a YouTube channel based on the fact that you're black and you're a homeless nomad who won't comb your hair and put on lotion and other emollients that make us glisten and look fabulous. So please stop that. Please stop the nonsense. Please stop using your platform to create a stereotype of us that we have to work very hard to dispel. Again, I'm just saying, now you might become angered, and oftentimes what happens is it's the non-black people who will come in the comments and say, you're being divisive. Well, again, it is what it is, and if you're not a black American, then you don't have a dog in the fight. Because we cousins. I'm talking to them. They know what I mean. They know exactly what I mean. So with that said, another thing that I have to emphasize, because again, I don't know if it's an age thing or a persecution thing or a socialization tactic, but trust me, you don't have to tell all your business. You don't have to tell all of your business. You don't have to volunteer anything. Stop giving people tours of your van or your car or your minivan. Stop it. Stop it. You are creating a target on your back. You're creating a target on your back. So if you have thousands of people, millions of people who are peeping at your channel and they see you in the parking lot, you don't know them, but they know you. They know what you have, what you're driving. We damn sure know what you're cooking because you all just love showing the food from the Dollar Tree and Walmart. And how you prepare it and how you just sit in the van and just eat all day. Sorry, I had to say it because I'm getting tired. Where you're driving, they have your license plate. They know potentially where you're from, and they know that you live in here. So now you show these people your solar system, your high-priced items, and it's one thing for a person to break in. It's another thing, but take everything. Take the vehicle. Then what are you going to do? Are you going to call us? The ones that you have delineated from that's probably going to help you? Because your friends aren't going to help you. And we know what we're talking about when we emphasize, and I'll emphasize the word friends. They're not going to help you. You're going to be out there by yourself trying to look for Jerome or TT to roll up on you and help you. So those are my perspectives on black women out here. I've seen too many things. I have seen people interact that are just odd interactions. I've seen black folks in national parks, and very few because I don't see a lot of people in national parks, but have seen people volunteering information, trying to get chummy. They do not give a damn about you talking to them. Stop answering questions. And so again, those are just some things that I think that, and this was actually influenced by what I've seen in media, what I've seen across social media, what I have seen in the news cycle, and it just seems to me that there is a heightened attack on black women. And again, I can't speak to the black male's perspective. Perhaps there's another channel that would be so gracious as to give their perspective on it, but I'm just giving you mine. So peace, be safe out there, and remember, the purpose of your travel is to have a good time and enjoy yourself. Don't be afraid. Do whatever it is that you like to do, but understand that you have got to be safe. We are missing in huge numbers. There isn't going to be a huge media response to us becoming missing, and we have got to be aware of where we are and what we are doing. So if you're interested in more of my content and videos of me hiking and enjoying myself, by all means subscribe to the channel. But again, this is just a simple PSA. Stay strong. Peace.